and today I'm going to show you how I made a card with the Mixed Florals stamp set bundle as well as the Sweet Blooms stamp set bundle. So I have mixed the two together a little bit and made a little card that I thought was pretty and kind of perfect for all things spring. Sorry, I'm wiggling stuff around trying to get a little bit straighter on the screen for you so that you don't have to turn your head and look all sorts of crazy crooked at it. So this is the card that we are making, and it's just got some pretty tulips on it, some pretty flowers on it, a little greenery, and then a fun sentiment that says, "Let Joy Bloom." And again, it's from the Mixed Florals and Sweet Blooms stamp sets. So Mixed Florals stamp set is very pretty and is kind of got line drawn images on it. Hey, Kim and Karen and Carol, thanks everybody for hopping in. Glad you're liking the card. Like I said, I just kind of screamed spring to me, and I saw a challenge that had some pink tulips as one of the pieces of inspiration on it, and I thought, this is the perfect set. Perfect time of year for that. So hey, Karen and Danette. So again, Mixed Florals is the name of the stamp set bundle, or one of the stamp set bundles. And this one, like I said, it's got some really pretty kind of hand-drawn look flowers on it, and the cute little ladybugs with it as well. And it's also got a set of coordinating dies. The larger open dies are going to cut out your stamped images. The little ladybugs, they're actually enough. There are 2 dies for each one of the little ladybugs on here. So if you want to stamp a whole bunch of little ladybugs and die cut them all at once, you can do that. And then there's this background die, and I did use that on my card today, so I put it on the background there. It's just an extra accessory die cut, and it's very pretty. So again, Mixed Florals is the name of this. It is an online exclusive, so you're going to have to go looking for it in the online store. So if you go to stampitup.com and then click on the menu button on the upper left, and then find the little button that says Online Exclusives, that is where you'll find this bundle. In North America, it is currently on back order. It is showing as returning around the 12th of May. So hopefully the dies will be back very soon and you all will be able to order it because it's really pretty and, like I said, perfect for spring. So hey, Roxanne and Marilyn and Kathy and Pam and Amanda and Kathy, thanks everybody for joining. So the other stamp set bundle that I used is one of the new ones from the upcoming, I think this one's in the annual catalog. I get confused whether it's annual catalog or I think it's annual catalog where this one is. I may be wrong. Feel free to correct me if you know for sure. But it's either one of the new online exclusives or one of the new catalog items. Either way, it'll be available to order starting on the 6th of May as well in the with the new all the new products that are coming then. So this one's a good one. It's got some sentiments in it that are kind of mix and match. And it is the annual catalog. I thought so, Karen, but then I had this moment of, oh, I know there's a floral set that's an online exclusive too. So I had like a moment where I couldn't remember. Thank you. Yes, it's in the annual catalog. So this will be available. And again, if you have your annual catalog already, you can probably find it right there out in the annual catalog. So this one has got some great sentiments, mix and match, as well as a pretty floral image. This is 2-step stamping. This is a great set because you can either die cut kind of, which I did on mine. So you die cut basically a thinner sentiment, and then you can layer it over the kind of thicker outline-ish look, which is what I did today. Otherwise, you can stamp it and die cut it, or you can just die cut the little skinny, however you want to use it. Again, it's kind of a mix and match with the sentiments and dies. And then there is a die for this 2-step stamped floral image as well as the little greenery image here. So again, this is a bundle that it's part of a big suite, and of course I can't remember the name of the suite either, but I know that it is in the upcoming annual catalog, thanks to Karen. Again, Sweet Blooms is the name of that one. And then I did use one other die set on here because, of course, I'm all about the dies. I did use, this is from the More Messages stamp set bundle. And this one, actually, I've used a couple of the sentiments on a card I made recently and posted on my blog, but it's one of those where it's all an assortment of different sentiments all in one big background stamp. You can stamp them all in one color and then cut them all out at once with this die. You don't have to use it that way. Obviously, I have used it on a totally separate sentiment. The only thing to be aware of is if you just want to ink part of it or just want to use a smaller piece, just make your piece of paper smaller so that it will fit the sentiment that you're looking for, and then die cut it, and I'll show you how it's done. It's pretty quick and easy. So I did use, I think it was this one that I used. Yep. So it's this little opening down here that I used on the Let Joy sentiment. So, all right. Again, more messages. This is an online exclusive that will be available to order also on the 6th of May. All right, now we got through all that. And again, like I said, online exclusives, just make sure that you are going and peeking at those every time you're out in the online store. The set over here on the right is a very small amount of the current online exclusives that are out there. The ones on the left it's a very small selection of the new stuff that is coming on the 6th of May. So just, again, like I said, every time you're out there ordering, make sure that you are taking a peek at those online exclusives. They're not tied to any catalog, so they come and go. And when they're gone, which is sad news. So if you see things out there in the online exclusives that you love, just go ahead and order them, and then you don't have to worry about whether you got them or not. All right. Couple other things. Stampin' Up! Today, which is May 2nd, and tomorrow, which will be May 3rd, Stampin' Up! Is doing double Stampin' Rewards, which is they've got a new Stampin' Rewards program where you essentially earn 10% back in sort of like a coupon code that you can use on a future order. They call it Stampin' Rewards. They keep it in a bank for you. You can apply it to any future order that you want to. For today and tomorrow only, the 2nd and 3rd of May, they're doing double Stampin' Rewards. So for every order of $20 or greater, you're going to start earning your Stampin' Rewards. Normally you get 10%. For the next 2 days, you get 20%. So get your orders put in, get those last minute things that are getting ready to retire from the current catalogs, and all that good stuff. Get your card stock before the prices go up and get double rewards. So yay for all that. All right. Last thing, Stampin' Up! Has also let us know they're going to be doing a starter kit special during the month of May, starting on the 6th of May with the new catalog ordering and running through the end of May. For $99 plus tax, if that applies in your area, you get to pick $165 worth of Stampin' Up! Merchandise in your starter kit, which is an awesome deal. So yeah, you can pick anything from the new catalog, from the new online exclusives, and once you purchase your starter kit, anything you order as a demonstrator, you get at least a 20% discount on, which is pretty awesome. And then you can pre-order from the upcoming new catalogs, upcoming online exclusives, and all that good stuff. When demonstrators get to order from them, there's no requirement to run this as a business. You can just order for yourself and get the awesome 20 or 25% discount for yourself. So let me know if you have questions about that. We'd love to have you come join our team. We have people from all over the United States that are part of our team. So you're welcome to join no matter where you are. We do most things virtually, so newsletters, we've got online meetings where we meet on Zoom and all that good stuff. So come join us. We'd love to have you be a part of the team. And again, like I said, it's a great deal. You get to pick $165 worth of stuff in your starter kit for $99. It will ship for free. And yeah, so good deal. Let me know if you have questions about that, the starter kit. So, all right. For my card base, the original one, I used my favorite card fold, which is the top fold one. So it's 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 across the top. I know not everyone loves this card fold, so I'm going to show you that you can actually do it with a regular card base as well. So I'm going to start with a piece of the Wildflower Birthday Designer Series paper. It's one of the specialty papers that is in the current mini catalog, and it is carrying over to the next annual catalog, so it's going to be around for a while. And I picked the Plaid Pretty in Pink, which is one of my favorite designs. Between that and the Soft Sea Foam Polka Dot, I think I've used up like almost every little scrap of those two that I have. So, all right, this is a specialty designer series paper because it's got the gold foiling on it, even though we're sticking the gold foiling down on this card. The designer series paper panel measures about 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 inch and 5 1/8 inch. And then I've got a piece of basic white cardstock that is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And so I'm just going to layer those one over the top of the other. And then we're going to adhere it to the Pretty in Pink card base. The card base that I'm showing you today is just your standard book fold. So it is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches, and then scored at 4 1/4 down the middle. So folded right in half. And like I said, if you like the top fold cards, this works as a top fold card. If you want it to be a side fold card, it could be a side fold card. Because like I said, I know not everybody loves the top fold like I do. So, all right. So let's stick this together here. And again, just using Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere the two layers together. Then I did do a little die cutting ahead of time. grab the dies back here again. These are from the Mixed Florals dies. Hey, Mario, thanks for hopping in. And Joan as well. I didn't see how, oh, and it looks like Roxanne is here too. So this is an Old Olive die cut. And I used the Mixed Florals dies, again, this larger die to cut this. So it's super quick and easy. Just run it through your die cutting machine. I did not put adhesive sheets on the back of here. You certainly could if you wanted to. But with the way I was layering my card front, I knew that I didn't need the adhesive sheets, so I just used a little Stampin' Seal instead, and I'll show you how I did that. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to put the Stampin' Seal kind of here in the middle of the card. I know it's going to be covered. I know it's going to show now, and I don't care a thing about it because I know it will be covered once I put my final layer of the card on. So I'm just going to take this and I'm scooting it over so that the top I'm making sure is on my card front, and then this is over close to the edge. So this is actually up off the bottom a little bit. And again, just using the Stampin' Seal here in the middle of the card to stick it down. And I know it will look yucky and be gluey, but nobody will care because it'll all be covered here in a second. All right. Next thing I did is I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, and I have got the large floral image. I think I'm going to turn this way, from the Mixed Florals stamp set. And I've got Tuxedo Black Memento ink that my team member Daryl put together for me. This is actually one of the white craft ink pads, and he actually inked it with Tuxedo Black Memento ink rather than the white ink that comes with it. And I am loving it. If you have not done this yet, I just saw that the Tuxedo Black Memento ink refill came back about, I don't know, a week ago or so. It's back in stock. It's kind of been out of stock everywhere, so I'm not sure what was going on with it, but it's back. And if you want to give this ink pad a try, now is a great time to do it. And again, get your double points when you're ordering. So, all right, I've got Pretty in Pink Stampin' Blends markers here. I've got a light and a dark, and we're going to start with the light. And we're going to color in the little tulips. All right. And again, it doesn't need to be colored perfectly or really smoothly or anything at this point. This is the first layer is usually, for me, just getting the color put on the image. So I don't worry too much about it and stress out about, making sure that it's all perfectly shaded and all that with the first layer on, because I know I'm going to add at least one more and probably 2 more layers of ink over the top of it. And again, coloring in my third little flower here. And again, it's the light Pretty in Pink that I'm starting with. So, hey, Judy, thanks for hopping in. And I've got dark, and I'm just going to come in here anywhere where I think there will be a darker shadow. Stampin' Up! Is nice on many of the images that they give us. They give us sort of a hint on where the darker shadows will be. They put some little creases and things in the images for us. So that helps me to know where I should add some of the shading in. And kind of, again, anywhere that looks like it would have an overlap and a little bit of a shadow, I'm putting that just a little bit of the dark Pretty in Pink Stampin' Blends coloring. Hey, Sherry. And Sherry, thanks for joining. So again, I've got the light, and I'm just going to come back in and pull and kind of blend the 2 colors together a little bit and make sure that I have everything colored in, because as I usually do, I've missed a few places, haven't colored it as nicely as I probably should have, but the last layer of the ink does give me a chance to even that out a little bit and make sure that everything is colored in the way I want it to be. All right. And Pretty in Pink is one of those colors, I don't know if you can see it, it definitely dries, the Stampin' Blends markers definitely dry a very different color, in my opinion, a very different shade of pink than when they initially go on. When you initially color it, it kind of almost looks like a peachy pink to me. It's like almost an orangey pink. And then it dries, and then Pretty in Pink comes through, and it's like, it's so pretty. So, all right. Done with that one. I've got Lemon Lolly for the other little flowers. Hey, Diane, thanks for hopping in. So hopefully I've got, light Lemon Lolly here. And again, I'm just going to scratch over these flowers. I don't need to spend a ton of time. It's a very artistic image. So if you're newer to Stampin' Blends markers, I always encourage people to start with a floral type image like this. Don't start with people because they are the hardest to color. Start with a floral image, and they're very forgiving. And if you go outside the lines, it's okay, especially on this type of image where it's definitely kind of an artsy look to it. So scribbling a little outside the lines is definitely just fine. So I started with the light and then basically made like a little C shape on each of the flowers with the dark. So, and again, Lemon Lolly was that color. And then the final little bit that I need to color, well, kind of a little bit that I need to color are the leaves. And these are Old Olive is what I'm starting with. So I've got light Old Olive Stampin' Blends that I'm going to be coloring first. And get this little leaf here. The hardest part is just deciding what should be leaves and what should be left blank when you're coloring this image in, because there are parts of it that sometimes, depending on which way you're looking at it, you're like, oh, I think oh no, I wasn't supposed to color that all in. So, but all good. Again, florals are one of those things that you can kind of color however you want to, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't know why this particular leaf to me is the one that I struggle with the most of all of them, because it's hard to tell. This is actually a little line for the stem of flowers rather than the actual leaf. The first couple times I colored it in, I colored it as though it was a big fat giant leaf, and then I looked at it and realized, oh, that's supposed to be the stem for the other flowers and really not supposed to be colored. So, and if you color it, it's just fine too. So like I said, it's a very forgiving image, so you can kind of color it however you want to. All right, getting the last little stem over here colored in, last couple of leaves. And we'll come back in with a little bit of dark Old Olive, and then I will be done with the part of this card that takes the longest, which is the coloring of the floral image. But like I said, it's a pretty easy one to color. I don't think it's taken me too long, probably a little boring to look at. I probably should have colored some of this ahead of time, but I hate to do that because I like you to be able to see kind of how I color it, and then you can decide if you like that or not. And if you don't like it, you can color it how you want. So, hey, I'm glad to hear that, Amanda. So, all right, I've got dark Old Olive. I just thought, I was thinking, oh, they must be getting bored watching me scratch over this image, but, hopefully it's not too bad. All right, dark Old Olive, I'm just coming back in here anywhere where I think there would be a bit of a shadow or it's underneath something. So again, here I'm probably going to put a little along the edges, a little along here, and then maybe a little bit here up towards the top. And definitely we're going to color that stem a little darker, a little bit here along the edge. And then we'll come over on this one, we'll add in a little color here and kind of color it down a little bit. Again, just coloring in the stem a little darker. And then that's folded over, so that definitely will be darker on the bottom. A little bit of darker in here. Maybe a little bit down here towards the center and kind of pull it up a little bit. Same with this one, along the edges. All right, I think we'll call that good for the dark. And somehow I always end up getting marker on my finger. So, all right. Now I'm going to come back in with the light Old Olive, and I'm just kind of scratching over everything. I will start in the area where I've got the dark at and blend together kind of where the seam is at to blend it a little bit, and then I can pull down from there based on whether I want to be a little bit more or a little bit less color on it. So there we go. Getting the edge of this done here, and I saw a couple comments come by. I'll look in just a second. I hate to look up when I'm coloring because I'm afraid that I'll have a total mess. So, oh, thanks. I'm glad you're liking the card, Sherry. All right, so there we go. Again, just coloring over a little bit. I always start in the area that I've added the shading to first and color and blend the edges of those together, and then pull it out from there so that it's got the shading on it that I want. And I also try not to smash down really hard on my markers either, because sometimes you can get like almost, it kind of feathers out and doesn't look like you want it to. It kind of, I don't know, it goes outside the lines and just isn't very pretty if you smoosh down on the markers really hard, so I try to keep a lighter touch on them. All right. We're getting there. It's almost done, I promise. All right, a little bit here on the edge. Making sure I've got that all colored in. And then a little bit more up here. I'll do one last look, and if there's anywhere where I've missed a little bit or I want it to be a little darker, I can add in another layer of color. Anywhere that I haven't blended as well as I want it to be, then I can go and scratch over that as well. And a little bit here, maybe on the end. And I think we're going to call that good. So it's done, or as done as it's going to get to be for me. So, all right. Next thing that I did was I die cut that image, and this is the big die that coordinates with this. So it's pretty easy to line up, she says optimistically before she runs it through the die cutting machine. So I'm going to go run this through my die cutting machine, and I will be right back. Okay, let's put this back on the magnetic sheet. Oh, maybe. Well, maybe I'll have to work on it later. I don't know. I know it goes back on there. I probably just have it twisted the wrong way. And I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere this to the card front. And just kind of, again, generally sticking them all over here on the back of my image. I do chop my Stampin' Dimensionals in half, and I know some of you hate that, and some of you love it, so it depends on whether you're the love it or hate it camp. I'm in the I love it camp, and you can't make me not cut them in half, but if you don't love that and you want to use whole ones, you're welcome to use whole ones. So that's the bonus of stamping, is you get to do it however you want. So, all right, peeling off the backings here, maybe. Come on, there we go. All right. Almost have them all. I think I've got one more to pull off, and I think we're good. Make sure, yep, that one's sticky. All right, so then I'm gonna take this and put it over my card front. And again, just kind of trying to roughly, I don't know, roughly center it, I guess. It's probably down, you know, up or down, doesn't really matter. Side to side, doesn't really matter. Just put it on however it looks good to you. I think we will call that good for me, so. Oh, thanks. This is actually, it's one of my favorite sets too, Roxanne, and I really have to stop myself from using it on everything, especially this time of year, because it's, in my opinion, it is one of the prettiest floral sets we have ever had. So, all right, as you can see, I did my die cutting for the original card from here as well, but I wanted to show you how I did this, because I know not everybody loves the adhesive sheets. I have learned to love them. They are not my favorite adhesive of ever, but they're one of those things that is very useful if you are bad at gluing stuff like I am. So this glue works fine for these types of sentiments if you're able to control it well enough. I had struggled with that a lot. So I find the adhesive sheets work better for me on the little skinny sentiments. The main trick that you're going to do is, you know that it's going to be cut like this on the front. So you're just going to flip it over to the back and pull your die over to the back as well. So you know about where to put your adhesive sheets. Adhesive sheets actually come in a 12-inch by 6-inch panel from Stampin' Up. And they've got little spots here where they've got like a little perforation in the adhesive sheet. So you're going to find, again, 6 inches wide, 12 inches tall, and the little perforations are at 2 inches. So 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches is how it's basically broken up. So you peel off the one side that is not sticky, and we're going to throw that aside as soon as I can get it off my finger. And then you're going to take the sticky side and not do what I just did and stick your finger in it, but you're going to actually stick it to the cardstock panel. This is the back side of the cardstock panel. And then you're just going to tear it off and do the same thing here with this one, except you're going to slide it over to the other side of the panel and tear it off. There we go. And then we're going to put our die back on the spot where it should go on here, and I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. When I die cut with the adhesive sheets on the back, I usually run it through and back it out of the die cutting machine just so that it gets a good solid cut the first time and you don't have to try to rearrange it and redo it. Like I said, just running it through, running it back usually gets me a nice solid die cut, so I'm going to go do that right now. All right, so there we go. This is the back of it, so now it's already got the adhesive sheets on it. And I did grab a die that will work, or a tool that will work. I should have grabbed my little pokey tool, the take your pick tool. Has got a little pokey end on it, but this will work as well since I don't have that handy. And I'm just going to pick the die cut out of there. And again, you're just going to have to pop out the little pieces here because there are extra little die cut pieces that are still stuck in the die, but they're real easy to get out. All right, get that out of the way. Then I'm going to, I did again already ahead of time, cut out the kind of outline bloom image, and that is this die that I've got here on the die sheet. So just ran this through with basic white cardstock and cut this. You do not need to apply adhesive sheets to the basic white panel because, well, again, depending on how you're going to put it on the card front, but it's definitely much thicker. So if you want to use glue on it or whatever you want to use for adhesive, you can do that with this piece much easier than you can with the little skinny sentiments. All right, now comes the only tricky part of using the adhesive sheets is getting these little adhesive backings because it essentially turns your die cut into a sticker. So it's just getting these picked off. And it does take a second, and I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you it's not a little fiddly because it is, but I find it much easier to use this stuff than I do to use liquid glue to try to put these together. Because liquid glue, I would have it stuck all over me already. And I would probably have glued myself to the project at least 3 times before I finished it. So I find these easier to use. If you love liquid glue and prefer to use that, you can get the same thing and have the same effect. I just don't love liquid glue. So, all right, with the adhesive sheets, you also do have a little bit of wiggle time on here, just like you do with the liquid glue. So when you place it down initially, you can move things around a little. Now, obviously, if you've really smooshed it down on there, you're not going to be able to wiggle it around at all. But if you just sort of set it down and kind of lightly tap over it until you get everything in place. And again, you can kind of move it around as you need to. These thin little die cuts are actually pretty flexible, so you can kind of get a little, if you need to pull something a little bit one way or the other way, you can definitely do that with the thin little die cuts and the adhesive sheets. All right, so it looks like we've got it on here fairly well. So I'm just going to take it and smoosh them down here and smash it together to make sure that it's stuck together and is going to stay together. So there we go. That's pretty quick and easy in my book. Again, not everybody loves the adhesive sheets like I do, but I really do love them. And I can't recommend them enough. So, all right, got some little glue dots here that we're going to put on the back of this center of the sentiment. So under the 2 O's and the L, and actually probably the top of the B as well, because that's all going to be stuck on my floral image that I've got, the big die cut floral image. So again, if you prefer liquid glue, you can use that. I like glue dots because, again, I don't end up covered in glue when I use them. The kind of fat part of the B is going to be hanging off of the floral image, so I'm going to grab, get out of here. I've got little bits of adhesive sheet and dimensional backings all over the place. So I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals. This is a pretty skinny little section, but I do want to put a little bit of adhesive under it. You love the adhesive sheets and use them all the time? Yes. Like I said, I struggle with liquid glue. It is not my friend, and I know some people love it. I'm just not one of those people. So, all right, let me make sure I can't see this on the front. I may need to trim it down just a hair here. Trim off that little bit of dimensional. Yep, there we go. I think that looks better. And then we're going to peel off the backing. So I put a Stampin' dimensional, half Stampin' dimensional. You can use a mini on here too if you prefer, underneath the fat part of the B. And then under the, just cut a little strip of Stampin' dimensional and put it here on the end of the M to hold that on the card front nicely, so that it doesn't get caught when I go to slide it into the envelope. All right, so we're going to put the bloom down here near the bottom. Whoop. So I want to try to get it a little more centered. That's better to me. All right, and then we're going to smoosh it down. And again, the glue dots are here underneath the B, the top of the B, the L, and the 2 O's. And then I've got Stampin' dimensionals out here, so it's going to be stuck down no matter where it's at on the card front. Then let me go back to my little die cut piece of cardstock for the second sentiment on here. I've got the Let Joy and Misty Moonlight ink, and we're going to stamp that here on the piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm gonna snip this out just a little bit, just so that I've got a little more wiggle room in my die cutting machine. So when you're using the large, oh, there we go, the more messages dies, it is all one die. I did have somebody ask if they could cut it apart, because I know that some of the dies that have come through as the one big sheet, you can cut apart pretty easily with tin snips. I think that would destroy this die. So I would leave the die together. If it were me, I wouldn't try to cut it apart, and just do what I'm doing with it. When you find the opening that you want to use on whatever the die cut is, just cut your paper to fit underneath it, and then make sure that your sentiment is showing through there and straight, however you want it to be, and then run it through the die cutting machine that way. So I am going to trim a little of the extra off the edge here, just because I want to make sure it fits through on the cutting plate like that, and won't get caught up and curled up in the edge of the die cutting plate. Only other thing to be aware of when you're using the larger dies is to make sure that you've got it fully on your die cutting plate and not hanging off the edge at all, because I'm telling you, there is no faster way to destroy a die than to run it through your die cutting machine with the edge of it hanging off, because it is amazing. It just takes the edge of those dies and curls them right around, and it just demolishes the die. So don't do that. Just make sure that you cut your paper so it fits underneath there. So I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine. Had one of those where it decided it was going to kind of spring out the other side of the die cut, or out of the die cutting machine, and yes, almost had the die cutting plate and everything all over the floor, which would have made a huge loud bang. You'd wonder what in the world happened. All right, so we've got our little die cut sentiment. Again, that's from the More Messages dies, and those are going to be available to order in a bundle if you want to, or you can just order the die set separately and stamp set separately, starting on the 6th of May in of the online exclusives. That'll be available then too. All right, we got the Let Joy. We're just going to stick that, I'm going to slide it down just a hair, I think. All right, last thing on the card front is these are they've been around for a minute, and I kind of forget about them until I pull out anything with Misty Moonlight, and I'm like, oh, we've got Misty Moonlight dots. So these are the adhesive backed pearl trios, and I'm just going to put a couple of those here on the card front, right around the edge of my sentiment and the floral image, just to give it a little something shiny on the card front. And again, if you want to put 3 of them on, you can put 3 of them on. I actually had intended to put 3 on when I started this card, and I just couldn't figure out the right spot to put the 3rd one. So then I just finally gave up and said 2 is what it is. So there you go. No real rhyme or reason or logic to why I do many things, but you know. All right, Misty Moonlight is what I've got for my ink pad here, and this is the little dotted image. It's kind of a, I don't know, slashes maybe would be a better word, and it is from the Sweet Blooms stamp set. And I'm just going to ink it up, and we're going to stamp it across the bottom of the panel here. And you don't have to worry about lining these up perfectly, because it's not a straight line, thank goodness. There's nothing worse than trying to get straight lines lined up. So stamp that across the bottom. And then I've got Old Olive ink and the little floral, the greenery part of the floral image. Again, this is from the Sweet Blooms stamp set. And we're just going to take that and stamp it here, kind of over the top of the little blue dashes. And then the little 2-step floral part, stamping in pretty and pink ink, lining it up and stamping it right over the top of the greenery image. There we go. And that one's definitely very forgiving and very easy to do the 2-step stamping with. And again, there is a die that coordinates with this if you want to use it, or want to die cut it out for, you know, a card front or something like that. Grabbing a little stamp and seal here and putting that on the back of this panel. And sticking it inside the card to finish that. All right, there we go. Gonna fold it and do a little crease here on the edge to make sure that I get a good solid crease with the bone folder. And that's it. So a super quick and easy little card. Again, just a little bit of coloring. The Mixed Floral Stamp Set Bundle. You can kind of, like I said, make it any color that you want to. The inspiration piece that I looked at had pink flowers, so I went with the pink tulips on it. So There you go. Don't forget, again, today, the double rewards, Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up! Are available on all purchases of $20 or greater today and tomorrow, which is May 2nd and 3rd. And yeah, so use that to grab a hold of some of this paper. You can get this stamp set. The dies are not available right now, but should be shortly. So you can get the dies when you put your order in for the new catalog. Hopefully sometime next week. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully it's beautiful where you are, too. It's sunny and so pretty here in New Jersey today. The humidity's not up yet, so yay for that. I know it's coming, but it's not terrible yet. But yeah, I will plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern Time next week, Tuesday, and then again around 2 o'clock Eastern Time next week, Friday. And details for this, including a PDF tutorial and all that good stuff, will be on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. And I'll link directly to the blog post once it goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time. So till then, we'll see y'all later. Let me know if you have questions, and don't forget to get your orders put in. All right, talk to you later.